okay, who may be the leader, he may be the president, or he may be the king. And in the Bible, the leader or the king or the president of the nation is the father. Okay, so the Bible makes us aware in the book of Genesis chapter 12 verse 1 that God ordered Abraham to leave his father's house, to leave his family, which is the second level. Now, after you become a father, the next level is to form a family. And from the family level, you get to the national level. Okay, so in the book of Genesis chapter 12 verse 1, we look at 3 levels that you take to get to the national level. That is your father, who is the foundation, and then you get to the family level, then you get to the national level. Now, in the book of Esther chapter 2, Mordecai told Esther not to forget his family and his people. Now, you realize that 2 levels, when you look at Genesis chapter 12 verse 1, 2 levels were given. The second level and the third level. That is because the reason why Mordecai gave this advice is that Esther already had a father. Okay, he already had a father, and he was now being selected to go and stand as the queen of the land. So the next level from the fatherhood level is the family level, and Mordecai advised Esther not to forget the family from which she is coming from, and not to forget the people which it belongs, which was the national level. Okay, so at that particular point, the advice or the counsel or the revelation that we see in this particular advice which Mordecai gave to Esther was that he was supposed to strive and do a lot of work and pay the price that he needed to pay in order to get to his second level of her life and to get to the third level of her life, which was the national level. Okay, so Esther told her that now you have a father. That one you don't have a problem. You cannot advise somebody to actually go in for somebody that he or she already have. If you have a car, I cannot advise you to go in for a car because you already have a car. If you have a house, I cannot advise you to already go in for a house because you have a house. If I can advise you, then I will advise you to go in for more houses, or I'll advise you to go in for more cars. Okay, so if somebody has a promotion, then what you do is to advise him to do better or to climb higher. And so Mordecai advised Esther to climb higher, to go to a position that was higher than what she was already occupying. So we look at this advice which Mordecai gave to Esther. So the first revelation is that now the secret to making it to the top is to always aim higher, is to always move forward. Okay, so Mordecai advised Esther to move forward, not to be okay with the achievements that she has already chalked. Okay, so the achievement that Esther had is that she already had a father. Okay, and she was supposed to move forward in her endeavors. Okay, now why did Esther succeed so much? Okay, now there were so many virgins that were invited, and Esther had 3 levels of training, okay, which her competitors did not get. Now, Mordecai, who was the father of Esther, had 2 exposures which the other people did not get. Now, the Bible makes us aware that Esther had a father who was Mordecai, who came from the Benjamin tribe. Now, in the Bible, the tribe of Benjamin was the tribe in which kings were selected. Okay, so the Bible makes us aware that King Saul was a Benjamin. Saul was selected from the tribe of Benjamin. Now, the next person who succeeded Saul was David, and David too came from the tribe of Benjamin. And Benjamin was the tribe in which kings were selected. So it was the royal tribe in Israel. And so now Mordecai advised Esther not to forget that he actually came from a royal family and that he should strive as much as he can to get to the royal position, which was the opportunity that was being offered to her. Now, let's look at the character of Mordecai very well. Now, we are already aware that Mordecai came from the Benjamin tribe, which was the royal tribe in Israel. Benjamin tribe was a tribe in which kings were selected. So Mordecai came from the royal tribe and had experience of royalty in Israel. So he was well versed and well experienced when it comes to the things which has to do with royalty when it comes to governance and leadership. Okay, now that was not the only experience that Mordecai had. Mordecai also was part of the gates of King Ahasuerus. Now King Ahasuerus had the leadership, and in the leadership of King Ahasuerus, Mordecai was part of the leadership. So there are two things that Mordecai had, which he gave to Esther. One was that he had experience about royalty, governance, and leadership from where he was coming from. He was a foreigner, and he had that kind of experience. Okay, so Mordecai had that on his sleeves. But that was not the only experience that he had. He also had experience when it comes to governance in the cabinet of King Ahasuerus. And Mordecai gave all these things to Esther and charged Esther not to forget what he has given to him. So whilst Esther was going to compete as a queen in a foreign land, he went with 2 tickets which his other companions did not have. Okay, and this is what you actually need in life. If you want to make it to the top, if you want to make it great to the top, you need people who have so much experience, who have so much exposure about the things that you want to do. And Esther had a father who had exposure when it comes to the governance in the foreign land that he was and governance in Israel. And Mordecai advised Esther not to forget the extra experience that he had. Now, it was governance in a foreign land, but he had exposure or experience or knowledge or training when it comes to governance in Israel. Okay, so that was something that Mordecai gave to Esther. Okay, so that is one ticket that Esther had. Now let's also look at another advantage that Esther had, which actually made her to climb so much to the top. Now, one thing that Esther had, despite the fact that he had Mordecai, who had exposure in the governance or when it comes to royalty in Israel and also governance in the land in which he was. Now, one thing that when you read the first 18 verses is that the Bible says that every single day Mordecai will leave his house, go to the women's court and pace at the women's court to find out how Esther was faring. Now, to become great, you don't do it in a day. Now, the journey to greatness, the journey to becoming very, very big, or the journey to the top is not an event. Okay, it is a journey. It takes time for you to become very great, and whatever you are going to achieve must be done daily. Okay, you must do a daily evaluation of whatever work that you are doing, and Mordecai was doing that for Esther. The Bible says that he went to the women's court to find out the welfare of Esther, and he was doing that daily. And so one secret that you need in order to make it to the top is that your dream may be so big, your dream may be so huge, but you must tackle your dreams a day at a time. A day at a time, and evaluate your success every single day. And Esther had all this. Okay, and no wonder he was able to beat all of them. Now, when you read carefully the first 18 verses that we've looked at, the Bible says that Esther had favor with Haggai, who was the custodian of the woman. Esther had favor wherever she went, simply because she had extra knowledge that her competitors did not have. Okay, and so to have this extra knowledge, you must connect yourself to people who have this extra knowledge. And Mordecai had both experience in the foreign land and in his native land. Now, one of the things that you also need in order to succeed, which runs through the life of Esther, is obedience. Now, Esther was charged not to reveal where he was coming from and his family, and he did that to the letter. He obeyed the instructions of his teachers. Now, remember that you may have a dream or you may have a goal, but you are not there yet. If the people who are ahead of you, who have actually chalked the sources that you are aiming at, if the people who are ahead of you, who have actually gotten to the place that you want to get to, give you advice, you must do as much as you can to obey. It doesn't matter what your dreams are. It doesn't matter what your endeavors are. It doesn't matter what your goals are. There are people who are actually ahead of you. And if you refuse to obey their advice, you will make a shipwreck of your dreams. But that is not what God aims for you. The reason why God actually documented these lessons for you and me is that we always listen to those who are ahead of us. Now, Mordecai was already in the governance of King Ahasuerus. Esther was now getting to that position. And so, when he gives you advice as to what you should do, you must try as much as you can to do it. And Esther obeyed that to the letter. So, Esther actually took the lessons that she had from his father, Mordecai, and that actually went well for her. Now, let's also look at Esther when she was with the eunuchs. Now, the Bible says that every woman had 12 months training. Now, if the Bible says that they received 12 months training, what does it mean? Now, the Bible uses the word 12 a lot, and the word 12 actually depicts governance. It depicts leadership. It depicts dominion. Okay, so we have 12 hours in a day, and we have 12 hours in a night. And the Bible makes us aware that the night is a leader, is a ruler, and the day is also a ruler. So the Bible makes us aware that the number 12 stands for kingship, and it stands for leadership, and it stands for governance. Okay, so when the Bible tells us that they received 12 months of training, the Bible is talking about mastery, which gives you dominion over whatever you want to do. So one of the lessons that the book of Esther chapter 2 teaches us, that whatever your dreams are, or whatever skills you are trying to acquire, you must try as much as you can to gain mastery over whatever you are doing. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you want to become a pastor or a teacher or a prophet or an apostle or an evangelist, being the fivefold, any of the fivefold ministry, or maybe it is not a godly work but a worldly work, maybe an accountant or whatever you are doing. The Bible advises you to gain mastery, to have full control of whatever you are doing. So each woman actually had 12 months training. Okay, and so the Bible is advising you to actually gain mastery of whatever you are doing. Now, the 12 months was divided into two. Okay, because whatever training that you are giving to yourself, or whatever dreams that you have, has to do about work. Okay, and there are two things which the Bible says. Now, the Bible says that they received 6 months in the oil of myrrh. The oil of myrrh, 6 months, which is 180 days for the oil of myrrh, and 6 months for perfume. Now, these two things, perfume and myrrh, are two attributes of work. Now, when the Bible talks about myrrh, myrrh is a herb or a plant or a commodity that is used for embalmment. Okay, so myrrh is a commodity that actually preserves and causes things to last for a very long time.